What's up, guys? This is another episode of the Entrepreneur Enthusiast. I'm excited about this episode. I got Leslie and Leanne here from 1010 Wines. We're just getting over the hump of their 1 year anniversary, and I'm happy to see you guys on the podcast because you guys are LA natives. You guys were able to open a business in LA, and that's really hard to do. And you guys just went into it. So to kind of go back, why wine? How did you guys start wine? Because you were in event planning. I'm not sure what you were doing before again, but why wine?
A whole ass attorney.
Yeah. So why wine?
I mean, we tell people this all the time. Like, that's what we kind of bonded our relationship in adulthood, I would say. So when I was in law school, that's when I got into wine, and I was telling Leslie, like, hey, try this, let's do this, let's go here, let's go to this winery, let's check out Napa, let's go here, all that. And so that's what we did with our family and friends. And I was like, I like this. So it was just like, let's do a wine bar, because it's really what brought us together as sisters and what we do like with friends and family. So that's why wine bar.
And you said something that it brought you guys closer. Did you have that relationship before, or was it the wine that kind of set that bar?
We've always been really close.
Yeah.
We're only 2 years apart, so we're really close in that aspect. But I went to school in Arizona. Leanne went to school in California, and then she ended up moving to Arizona. So that was really like our way of bonding, like when we became adults, because we weren't living in the same household, we weren't living in the same city. So we would meet each other in different wine regions, and Leanne would introduce me to different wines, and that was the conversations we would have on the phone, or I was going to say over Zoom, but Zoom wasn't a thing there, but like over FaceTime when we were getting into wine.
Did you guys like battle who's like palate is like, oh, I got this bottle, oh, I got this bottle, like, oh, I got this bottle?
I'm not gonna lie, Leslie's palate was way more advanced than mine, but I think since I've elevated.
Now Leanne runs Supreme, but I always try to take things to another level. So I'm always like, oh, we're trying this. Let's see who's doing it better. Let's see who's doing it more expensive.
It's interesting growing up in LA and in the parts of LA we grew up in, and still being affluent and being exposed to things like. And when you first are exposed to things, it's like, oh, you're doing what the white people do.
Right.
So, in a space where you guys are two African American women, how have you guys been able to transition and adapt to this new space?
Yeah, so I mean, it was important for us when we came into the wine space to see what other black people were doing in this space.
Yeah.
And so people always say, oh, you have the largest selection of black-owned wines in the state of California.
Yeah.
And it was intentional, yes, but it also was just us bringing the wines that we drink at home to the people of our community. So when we were growing up, our parents instilled in us the importance of supporting small businesses, black-owned businesses. And so, like I said, when we got into wine, we wanted to see what black people were doing in this space. And what we realized is that our black-owned wine companies make up less than 1% of the wine companies in the United States.
Got it.
And so it was important for us to highlight these brands in our space because, one, those were the wines that we were drinking at home, and then two, they weren't in other local businesses around where we're located.
I'm a huge foodie. You guys know I literally eat everywhere with my family. Anytime we can go. My daughter is like she loves to eat out, loves to eat meals. So I can't wait to take her there one day, like, and explore the food scene. So when you guys are traveling now, are you guys making connections with other wineries, other restaurants? How are those conversations now that you guys are business owners in this space?
Yeah, it's kind of cool because, now the restaurants that we go to, even more so, we're intentional about the places that we go. So when we travel, we try to seek out black-owned wine or black-owned restaurants. We try to go to restaurants that are serving the wines that we serve at 1010. So a lot of times there's already that connection there, because even though we may have not met in person, we follow each other on Instagram, or we're a part of different networking groups or something like that. So, we just came back from Aspen for the Food and Wine Festival a couple months ago, and, we went to a Black-owned restaurant, and they were serving Black-owned wines. And so that was really cool, because it kind of felt like we were, at 1010, but in Aspen, Colorado. I mean, her food is actually better than ours.
But what's she doing over there?
But yeah, so it's kind of cool, and that's something that we are pretty intentional about when we travel.
It's different when you travel with purpose. I remember that was always my goal, to just travel and grow my business. And you're having different conversations, you're meeting different people, and you're expanding, different places. And I love that about being able to travel and being Black, because you're able to make those connections with individuals. Who have you guys been able to connect with in this space that you got that has really helped propel you to the next level? Like I would say, in a mentor type space, who's been able to propel you guys to get to that level?
So I'll say two people, and I know Leanne will have another person, but early on we made a relationship with Cassandra, who owns Sip Wine and Beer, which is in Escondido, California, which is right outside of San Diego. And she has a similar concept to us. She really focuses on highlighting Black-owned wines, woman-owned brands, LGBTQ plus owned brands, and other people of color. And so when we went to her wine bar, she really kind of showed us the ropes and really explained to us not only like how to do the business, but why, like, the storytelling behind the wines was super important, which we knew, but it just kind of intuitively, but to see it in action was super important for us. And from there, we were able to gain a relationship with the McBride sisters, who have the largest Black-owned wine company in the country. And they have been mentors to us, they've been friends to us, and they've really been supporting us and making sure not only are there wines in our space, but anytime we need something to kind of, pump up our brand, they're right behind us and saying, like, have you been to 1010? Have you heard of 1010? And I know, on the spectrum, like, they have deals with Target and Kroger and Trader Joe's and Total Wine. So small little 1010 Wine in Inglewood, California is probably not on their radar, but they make sure that we feel like they are. No,
it's good to have that support. And as far as I can imagine it's a huge workload, being able to do this. And with the dynamic of being sisters, the dynamic of being business partners can be hard at times too, because you have to go at a certain pace. I always relate things to sports, but like even in basketball, like you're on the point guard's pace. Everyone else is kind of going in, and sometimes somebody's going full speed, and sometimes you're going at half speed. How do you guys manage the communication in that relationship so it stays?
I mean, it's trial and error. What I appreciate is that we both know what we're good at, and we trust each other enough so that each person can do what they need to do in our business. And so we do a lot of events. Leslie's an event planner. Boom. People ask me about events. I'm like, ask Leslie. Like, that's not my lane. I don't try to learn anything about it, do anything with it. I'm like, hey, she knows what she's doing. I trust her. Here you go. And for the wine, like Leslie said, I curated the menu. So when people are trying to bring new wines in or do tastings or things like that, just talk to me. So I think we've done a very good job of learning each other's strengths, and then on top of that, trusting each other to be like, okay, you are going to do all these things, I'm going to do all these things. And I think most recently we just started to carve out time to say, okay, we're going to talk about business for this long, and then we're going to go and like have sister time and not discuss anything like business. So
I mean, it's hard for me to do it with my wife.
It's very difficult.
I'm the one that's always full on that pace, just always ready to go. But you got to be able to separate it and kind of segment it off in the space. And so, to that point, you said something about roles. Like, in real true entrepreneurs know, you have to know your role. If I'm not good at this, you got it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I won't even speak on it. Like, it's certain things that you do, and I think that's the first phase of being entrepreneur is the humility of saying, you know what, let's find some help, you know, to do this. So beyond then you guys together, then how do you guys figure out who you're going to work with, who you're going to hire? Because I'm sure you guys vibe with different people sometimes.
Yeah, so I mean, the good thing about it is our team are all people that we've known for a very long time.
That's
so the
perfect.
person who manages our social media and our marketing, she was my college roommate.
Nice.
The person who is like right under me with our events, we've known her family for a really long time.
Yeah.
The person who's our general manager, we went to middle school with.
Yeah.
So we have people in place that we really trust, and now we are just giving them more and more responsibility so that we can grow the business from a higher level, and they can kind of execute those things on the ground so that we can, like I said, move on and do some other
You
things.
see what happens when you give the community money? Keep it in the community. 'Cause
Yes.
there's a lot of people that are like that like want to keep in the community, but it's hard to, because you know you get priced out here, you get overwhelmed. But like with the support of the community, you can really keep it in the community. I know you went to law school. Did you go to business school?
I didn't, no.
So your event planning was your business school, and
Exactly.
this is your business school.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so what's one thing, Lynn, do you feel like you've learned in this process that you're like, wow? I feel like you're loving entrepreneurship. You're wearing the hat very well.
I thank you. I think patience has been the number one thing.
Yeah.
You have to be patient, and you have to be able to have conversations with people. So I'm not really the person to be very direct and, the hard ass, but it's like, when it comes to an investment, it's like, we need to talk about some things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are two things I've learned, is just being patient and really being able to be direct and tell people like, hey, this isn't working for us, let's go into this direction. And that's been my two things for sure.
What about you?
I would just say not biting off more than you can chew. So I think
Explain that.
Yeah. So I think, when we started our business, we had all of these things that we wanted to do. We knew we wanted to do happy hour. We knew we wanted to have brunch. We knew we wanted to do offsite events. We knew we wanted to do catering. We knew that we wanted to host big brands in our space. But we gradually added those things to our business.
Yeah.
Because if we went out doing all of those things day one, we wouldn't have been successful.
Yeah.
So when we opened, we had a very limited menu for food and wine, and we had a very limited staff. And we were like, let's manage this team, let's manage what's in our hands, let's manage with what we have. Also, after building out the space, we didn't want to put ourselves in a position to where we were overcommitting our finances when we didn't know how the business would run. We didn't know how much money we would make, all those things. So we were very conservative when we started off.
Yeah.
And then as the months went by, we were like, oh, okay, we know that we can add happy hour and our chefs will be able to handle it. We know that we can add brunch and we'll be able to handle it. We know that we can add offsite events and we know we'd be able to handle it. We have a little bit more money, so we know that we can extend our inventory and we would be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So I always tell entrepreneurs when they ask me what is like the best piece of advice I can give them, you might have these big dreams, you might have like your goals for 1 year out and 5 years out and 10 years out, but I always tell them like Rome wasn't built in a day. So just start with start with what you have in your hands, and then progressively add and grow your business.
In my space, I get a lot of people that have these grand business ideas, and they're great ideas. And they want to come and build a website, and they say, I want this page and that page. I'm like, you don't even have the content for those pages
exactly.
yet. And they don't see that. They're just seeing like, oh, I want my site to look just like 1010 Wines. So I'm like, you're not doing what they're doing. So you can't have your site look like that.
Right.
And I think when you're starting a business, you think you have to be perfect and grand. But as you guys said, you just start in a smaller space and expand on that space. And that takes a few discipline to be able to do that. Where did you get that from? Like, how did you learn that from your event planning marketing school?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and I think also just like our parents. So they told us that everything that we do needs to be in excellence. So it doesn't matter if you are, creating a school project, or if you're opening up a business, no matter
Yeah.
what you do, you need to do it in excellence. And so it's hard to do something in excellence when you're overextended. So we knew that we had to start small and perfect that, do that in excellence, and then move on and add things so that we can also do that in excellence. So even like on my way here, I was talking to my dad, and he brings that up all the time, and that's just
Yeah.
like a constant reminder to me, like, do things in excellence, do things in excellence. And so yeah, I think we do that across all of our brands. But even more so in the wine bar, because you have so many connections with people. You're constantly interacting with not only guests but your vendors, and you want to make sure that they're having the best experience. And although you can't control everybody, but you know that you can do your best. And if you're operating in excellence and somebody doesn't like the food or somebody doesn't like the wine, then there's nothing you can do about it, but you served it the proper way.
I got the amazing box from you guys.
Thank you. Glad you liked it.
Yeah, I really did like that box. My favorite part was the bottle opener. I go camping. I go to the beach with my family, so like it kind of was the perfect box. I'm gonna give it to my daughter because she's gonna like it. She's 9, but she still has her little sodas and stuff like that.
Right. It says 1010 wine on it, so
not soda, water. She doesn't drink soda or wine. She drinks water. She got her waters in there, but we can take it in lug alone. I got the Dwayne Wayne wine in there.
Yeah.
Does he know you can cross him over? If he doesn't know, you should tell him that. You gotta be like, yo, bro, I can cross you over.
I'm like, let me lace up right there. I got you.
Yeah.
We're actually doing an event with him in a couple of weeks, so we should tell him.
You gotta tell him that. You gotta tell him, look, 1-on-1, one
Let's
shot.
do it.
One shot.
That's all I need.
That's all you need, for a bottle of wine. That's not bad. I'm excited to dive in that bottle. I started my wine journey in the pandemic. I went to because when the pandemic happened, the only hotels that were open were at wineries in Paso Robles, and I stayed before Napa. I stayed in the place is called I gotta get the name. It's a ranch, but it burned down. But I was in Napa. It was really nice. Calistoga Ranch.
Oh, okay.
In Napa, it was really nice. Expensive too, but it really expensive. But it was really nice. And I started learning those things, and I always go back to where we're from. All these things are new to me, so I enjoy them so much because these are new things to me. So I get excited, so I still don't know what I'm doing. So if someone was getting into wine and had zero palate, almost like a disrespecting palate, how would they introduce? What's the big vino? I'm not there. I'm not there. No offense to anybody who drinks vino. I'm not there. But how would you say introduce yourself to the right wine?
I think it comes down to getting outside of your comfort zone, because I think that wine can be intimidating. So you may not want to order that thing on the menu because you don't know how to pronounce it, or maybe you don't want to go into a wine shop and ask, what's a good wine to have, because then they're going to start talking to you about things and using terms that you don't know. And so you just have to get outside your comfort zone and look at them and say, hey, this is the one I want, and point to it, or say, hey, I may not know these terms right now, but thank you, I'm going to try this one. And it really is just by trial and error.
I used to get intimidated because when I was younger, I was doing marketing for a lot of football players, NFL players, and we would go to these expensive restaurants, and I'm the guy that ordered chicken fingers, right? And then I had to stop, and then I would start ordering burgers, right? Now I had to stop, and I was okay, let me explore the menu.
Right.
That's kind of easy, and I'm not gonna lie, I was embarrassed when I realized come on, bro, you gotta order more chicken fingers, yo. I was embarrassed. So when it comes to pairing your wine, then how do you go and do that based on the restaurants that you're going to and places you're going to?
I think there's a lot of wines and foods that have just very traditional pairings, and you can find that through Google or books like Wine Folly, who give you examples of what that looks like. But also, Leanne was saying, it's just kind of getting over that fear and asking questions. I still go to restaurants and wine bars, and I'm I am getting the sea bass. What on your wine menu do you think will pair with that? And then from there, the waiter or the sommelier or the bartender will get very excited and want to speak to you about the wines that they carry. Because even though you might be versed in wine, there may be wine companies or wine regions that you never heard of. And so I think it's kind of getting out of that fear of, feeling stupid or feeling like you're asking a dumb question and just going and saying, hey, what would you pair with this? And honestly, like, that gets me more excited than somebody just ordering something off the menu and acting like they know something. Because I prefer to be like, oh, well, actually, you can pair 3 things with it, and let me bring you over a tasting, and this is from, this region, and this is from whatever region. And so I think it's just feeling more comfortable, which it's kind of hard in adulthood to like not feel silly asking questions. But exactly.
I always ask the waiter or waitress, like, what do you like?
Exactly.
What do you think I should do with this?
Exactly.
They kind of either want to sell you the best thing, or they actually like, oh no, this is good, or this is not. Like, they actually like that. So that's interesting that you say that so the person get into it. Like, just don't be afraid to ask questions.
Don't be afraid.
Same thing with business. Like, don't be afraid to just start. Don't be afraid to get into it. And so we discussed a lot of you guys' challenges that you went through. What are some of the joy moments that you guys have had in this place? Especially to hit a year is like, wow, I'm pretty sure it went faster than the year went. It's like, oh snap, it's a whole year. Like, let's do this. But like, how does it feel? How does that really feel for you guys to say this is what I'm doing?
I don't think we opened with the expectation that we would get the amount of exposure that we have gotten. So for me, I think that's been kind of like the aha moment of like, wow, this is pretty cool, because we really just came with our dream, our vision, and so to execute that and be recognized for it is something that we are truly grateful for, and like I said, didn't necessarily expect. So that's really what I think has been overall like the shining moment of Tintin, and to be able to make it a year through the pandemic and just restaurants in general is a big deal for us. So
I mean, people always ask us like, what is our most proud moment? For me, it's the Black-owned wine brands that we support. And so we always tell people, by supporting our business or patronizing our business, you're supporting and patronizing dozens of other Black-owned businesses. So anytime we can bring new Black-owned businesses onto our menu, anytime we can, or when vendors tell us like, hey, like, y'all are our biggest client. Like, we just, we were producing this many cases before, but this year we're going to produce this many cases because of the business that you're giving us. That's a huge deal for us, because it was never our intent to just, be successful ourselves. We wanted to expose our community and actually the world to these brands that not everybody was partaking in. So the fact that we're able to do that and people recognize that that's what we're doing, I think that's pretty cool.
Do you guys have bigger dreams?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely things that we want to do.
Where do you want to take 1010?
Obviously, we want to open up another location.
Nice.
And not just in California. We're looking to take it to other places. But we also want to be like the spokesperson or the
maybe go-to
people.
Because it doesn't seem like the motivation is monetary.
No.
Because I faced that in my business, where my motivation is the work. It's the creating the work. It's not the money. Like, I don't need to make more money. Like, I just want to have more fun and be able to, like you said, create jobs, create opportunities and things like that. So I'm always curious, because once you get to that level of entrepreneurship, a true entrepreneur is giving jobs. Providing jobs. You guys are taking care of people's families, putting food on tables.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that that brings us the most joy. Like you said, it's really not about the money, and thankfully Tintin has been able to, give us the resources to take care of ourselves. But it's not where we're looking to, we didn't start this business to make a ton of money. Honestly, one of our mentors said, you're not going to make a lot of money. So we kind of, suspected that going into it. But it really is just building these these other wine brands up. And honestly, like, our goal is, right now, Black-owned wine companies make up 1% of the wine companies in the country. If by the time we're done with this, it's up to 5 or 7 or 8 or 10%, and we had a little bit of impact on that, that's huge for us. And that's really why we are doing it, and why there's wines that maybe no other place in the city will carry, but we'll carry it because we want that exposure. We want them to get that exposure.
Yeah, that's across the board. We have to have that.
Yeah.
It's important to have representation, like, for those little girls to come inside and see you guys, like, oh, you own this? Like, this is you? Like, like, yeah, like, those are things. And I hope you guys continue to get the word out for this, because what you guys are doing is amazing. I'm happy for you guys. Like,
thank you.
I understand entrepreneurship is hard, and it doesn't stop, and it's very time consuming. So I definitely get that, and I always tip off the hat to my full-time entrepreneurs, because you never know what challenges you're going to face and things are going to occur. And like I said, you're supporting families, you're feeding mouths, you're impacting people, you're in communities. So many things you guys are doing. So where can people find you guys?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at 1010 Wine and Events, 1010 Wine and Events, all spelled out. And we are very intentional about updating you on all the events that we have going on, all of the different specials that we have. So we have a lot of events. Wednesday through Sunday is when we're open, and we have something going on every night of the week. So make sure you check us out there. Our website has all of our events as well. And if you subscribe on our website and sign up for our mailing list, then you'll get weekly emails about what we're doing, and then you also get some freebies too. So
Need that. Anything you guys want to tell the audience before you guys leave?
We're just grateful for all the support and for you having us here, and we just want to continue to grow the wine community, and really just make an impact that is beneficial for the people that really started this before us, like the wine brands that came before us. So I'm really grateful to be here for my sister and for 1010. So yeah, thank you.
Nice. This is another episode of the Entrepreneur Enthusiast. I have Leslie and Leanne here from 1010 Wines. This episode was sponsored by Affluent Solution, proud marketing tool to help you drive your entrepreneurship goals and keep everything all in one platform. I messed that up with my, been talking a lot today, but it's cool. It's my platform. I can say what I want to say. And thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.